Hi, I'm Dr. Rajani, and today we're talking K2-D3. So why did I formulate this particular vitamin? Several reasons. Number one, I'm on it. I have been for years. Number two, same with my patients. Number three, how did all this come to be? Well, their studies were showing that wrinkles were occurring at a younger and younger age. And when they looked at the correlations, this wrinkling was associated with a lower bone density. And when you really look into that, people are losing bone at a younger and younger age. So bone's important not just for the face, which doesn't see resistance, so it can't form bone. It's one of the most important. The bone crumbles in the face. At least the body sees resistance, and we don't notice that bone loss till the later years for many people. But the skin tells so much about what's happening inside the body. I wanted to offer something that works from inside the body to the outside. So there's studies showing that. That's how I got to know it many years ago. However, there's so much more to K2-D3 that I'll tell you about. I'm going to take you through my vitamins, the formulation. I'm going to show you why I use MK7, the specific form of vitamin K2. A little bit about what D is and why you might need D, and what they do when they work together synergistically. Why do we add K2 to D3? Now this is going to be a fairly brief video because I have in-depth videos showing the studies not only on Raji TV but also on YouTube if you want to do a deep dive. But I wanted my vitamins to be GMO free, gluten free, made in the USA, and conform to the proper standards of good practices of manufacturing. First, let's start with vitamin D. Now in here I put 5,000 international units of vitamin D. So many people are vitamin D deficient. It's known as the sunshine vitamin because you need vitamin D to help convert it into D2 and D3. D3 I use because it's the more expensive, more bioavailable form. You'll see D2 in foods that you get at the grocery store and fortified foods like cereals and other foods that they say vitamin D added. It's much less expensive, but vitamin D3 is the one that you want to look for, and that's the one I use. 5,000 international units is a relatively high dose. The daily recommended amount is somewhere between 500 and 1,000 international units. It's my belief that we're much more deficient in vitamin D because, especially on the aesthetic side, many of us wear sunscreens. Many people live in places where there isn't a lot of sun, and skin cancer is on the rise, melanoma. In fact, melanoma that's aggressive is on the rise, and that's dangerous. So people are avoiding the sun more and more. I think more people are vitamin D deficient than we believe. Most people don't measure their D levels, and adding extra D is not harmful at the levels we're talking about, so it's better just to add it. When you look at my label, you'll see 125 micrograms, and that equals 5,000 international units. Now let's talk vitamin K. K1 is involved in the blood coagulation that most people think about. You get it from leafy greens. K2 benefits bone and heart, and it's another essential fat-soluble vitamin. It's a subtype of vitamin K. Now, that's important of itself, but there's two forms. There's MK4 and MK7. MK7, which is what I place in mine, 100 micrograms, and I do that because MK7, while it's more expensive, it is more bioavailable and has a longer half-life. And that means that you're going to have to use less of it, less of a dose. And the body just exposed to it when you take that supplement over a long period of time. MK4 gives a big hit of it all at once. So that's why MK7 is the form that I use, and you'll see it on the back as 100 micrograms. As an aside, you know the Japanese don't have as much osteoporosis, and they often look very young into their 80s and 90s. They take a food called natto, and natto is where MK7 comes from. That's the origin for the MK7 in the supplement. Now, why K2 and D3 together? I mentioned vitamin D, you get calcium into the blood. We don't want calcium in the heart, in the vessels, in the tendons. We want it in the bone. And that's exactly what vitamin K does. It essentially says, hey, put it in the bone where it's most needed. And that's why D3, K2 work synergistically. If one took high doses of D without K, the calcium in the blood might elevate, and you do not want that because that leads to problems of its own. You want the calcium to come in and then go to the bone. For those people that want to also take it in their diet, or they're not always wanting to take a supplement, where is it found? Fermented foods like natto. If you take fish, it's found in eels. If you like cheese, although cheese is high in fat, it is a good source. Certain cheeses have it. Other forms of it you find in egg yolks. I know a lot of you don't take egg yolks because you're afraid of your cholesterol. Beef liver and butter are other sources as well. You can see a lot of people do not eat the foods where vitamin K2 is obtainable. Oftentimes those foods are not palatable, or people just don't like them, or if you go to regular, if you're eating out a lot, they're just not on the menu. So let me list the benefits of K2D3. Number one, we mentioned bone health. Number two, cardiovascular health, because you don't want the calcium in your vessels, you want the calcium in the bone, and it helps prevent the calcium going into other areas, and you don't want high blood calcium, and so by having the K2D3 together, it puts it into the bone. And of course, hardening of the arteries, atherosclerosis, has a calcium component to it. So it helps with fighting heart disease, the number one killer, and stroke as well. Number three, overall inflammation. Inflammaging, whether it's on the skin or in the vessels, is a bad thing. Number four, it fights diabetes and insulin resistance. Insulin tells your cells to take sugar from your blood and use it for energy. And a lot of people are insulin resistant, don't know it, and they simmer along with low-level diabetes and inflammation from that. And metabolic syndrome is another one that's a problem in this country. Now you may ask, why do you need a supplement? Well, if you take the food, that's one thing. I mentioned why a lot of people don't take the foods, but there's one more reason that people might be deficient. This has to do by the way the grass-fed animals produce this vitamin. All mammals, except for us, except for humans, have a necessary enzyme for efficiently converting K1 to K2 in the gut. Remember, we don't have that. So K1, as discussed earlier, is found in the greens, anything that uses chlorophyll or energy. Since humans don't possess that enzyme and our gut only converts a little bit of K1, we have to get the majority of K2 by way of our diet. However, grain-fed animals, which a lot of people traditionally have eaten, they don't offer a lot of proteins that are high in vitamin K2 since they aren't eating K1-rich food. You see, the animal's diet, what the farmers feed the animals, will depend on what the animals have in them that we are eating. They aren't eating K1-rich foods, I can tell you that. Our food chain and supply chain is broken, and it's why I think we're seeing hormone changes and we're seeing fatigue and everything else in our youth. In other words, the food sources aren't good. If people are eating pasture-raised organic cow, then yes, they can potentially get this K2. But in general, we're seeing K2 deficiencies because of that food chain. Like any other supplement, you want to check with your doctor if it's appropriate for you, but it's exactly why I take K2D3, why I recommend it to my patients, and why I formulated mine. Just like all the other supplements I have in my line, they're things that I take. If you have questions, certainly ask me. My goal is to educate and help you keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.